population in Minnesota. So, and pairing that up with his background as a teacher who did teach his students about about how certain types of genocide are not even covered in the same severity. Like, this is what's good. What's up? I'm not gonna be here. No, I'm flying back. Yeah, unfortunately.
Early morning though.
I'm literally, that's when I'm flying. God damn, that's loud. Sorry about that.
No, man.
It's good seeing you guys.
Committed. Thank you for being here.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, I saw you early on Monday.
Very special guest. Someone who I personally was.
Yo, give me the other mic. I want to hold it out.
Honorable St. Louis Congressman Cory Bush.
One thing that I always think on is you don't know when a history-making moment is going to happen. History is all around, and we just walk into it when we're walking in our purpose. You're setting history, and in a lot of ways, you're changing the course of what could have and would have happened. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge you all and your sacrifice. I know it may not necessarily feel like a sacrifice. It may feel like I don't deserve to be honored, but for coming from someone who has been to and led, co-organized hundreds of protests over the last 10 years, many of whom Michael Berg is right next to me with, the boss was at, you need to hear it. You should hear it, you deserve to hear it. Because you are giving of yourself. And you're giving of yourself primarily for people you don't even know. You're giving of yourself not only for what's happening now, this is about legacy. This is about people's children's children. This is about family generations. We know that generations, whole generations of Palestinians have been wiped out. And so what we are saying, what you are saying by being here, by holding the line, is that the United States has a moral obligation to hear from the most directly impacted people who are suffering in ways that this Black woman don't understand, that many people in this country don't and won't understand, which is why we need a Palestinian American person to speak from that stage. Yeah. When we hear it, we learn. When we hear it, it allows us to open up to something that we may not have understood, or it helps those that are walking through that to feel seen and heard. Also, it's just about our humanity.
Right.
When I think about how I got into this work, I first have to acknowledge and think about my dear brother Abbas, who, thank you for your leadership in this moment. Thank you for not doing what was comfortable, but doing what was necessary. For not doing what was easy, but for doing what was right. And I think about how Abbas is not Palestinian. I think about the times when Abbas poured out and bared his soul, talking about being a child and the bombs dropping in Lebanon, and how he never would have thought that he would have ended up going from that child in Lebanon with the bombs dropping to then being my chief of staff in the United States Congress. But he did. And because he was honored by that position, because he was blessed and elevated and promoted to that position, he made a decision not to fail what was handed to him. And that's what he's doing right now. When I think about this work and so many of you all who are standing here and those who want to be here but aren't able to get into the gate, and I need to publicly say this, for anyone who's thinking, wow, it's only a few people here, it's only because folks don't have the credentials to get in the gate.
Right. The people are with us.
Standing up as a Black woman in this movement, standing up, making sure that my voice is being heard along with so many others, is because we need people to know, just like Abbas, that this is not something that our Palestinian American or Palestinians should have to walk through on their own.
That's right.
Because I remember a day during the Ferguson uprising, many days, that our Palestinian community, our Palestinian Arab community, as well as Palestinians that came over to the United States, stood with us, locked arms with our Jewish community, with our Latinx community and so many others, our LGBTQ community and so many others. We all stood locked arms together, standing up, crying out to save Black lives. And the thing is, the whole burden didn't have to be on us. We were saying we're trying to be heard, and we knew that we weren't. But being locked arms with folks who weren't as directly impacted made a difference. And so we have to do the exact same thing. So for those who are out here who are not Palestinian, your place is yet still here. Your place is to make sure that you are lifting those voices of our Palestinian and Palestinian American community, our Arab community, our Muslim community, lifting it in a way that they may not, because of the burden and the oppression that they're walking through right now. We want to lift them up, and we want them to understand that as you are hurting right now, we don't know the true hurt. And so we have more space and more capacity to be here. So we're here saying not another bomb.
Not another bomb.
We're here saying we need an arms embargo.
Arms embargo.
And we're saying that we want a Palestinian American person to be on that stage tonight in front of the DNC, on that DNC stage, in front of the whole world, proclaiming that they deserve to be heard, that the United States must listen, and that they should be prioritized the same way as our Israeli folks that were up on that stage, Black folks, and anybody else. So it's up to us, you all, if we leave, if we go away, if we stop, gives them an opportunity to say, well, it's over. So for those that are able to stay, as long as you're able to be here, I know Abbas says he's here to the last moment. Thank you. Thank you. And as a member, a current sitting member of Congress, it is my duty to be here as well, because human lives are at stake, because we don't have a permanent ceasefire right now, because over 40 million, which could be close, 40,000, close to 100,000 lives have been taken, because whole communities have been decimated, destroyed, because people are starving. So I have an obligation to be here, because my other obligation is to use my card, my voting card, to make decisions about how that the money is spent from the United States. It also, what resolution I say yes to and no to. So I'm here, you all, and I'm standing with you. I am in solidarity with you all. I am not here to lead you. I am here to be arm in arm in solidarity. So thank you.
If you'd like to join us right there.
Yes.
All right. Oh, you take the photo and then.
Yeah, and then we'll get.
What's up?
And then I'll get some.
Yeah. Everybody. I'll talk to whoever's. Hey, Prem, what's good? Dude, look at this guy's rings. Show the rings. This guy's just styling and profiling every fucking day. It's crazy. Here, you want to show? You want to capture it as well from the front? I should have waited for this photo to use as my blast off image. I messed up. Chat, I've also blasted off, so.
1, 2, 3, free Palestine. 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 Free. 1, 2, 3, free Palestine. 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 1, 2, 3, free Palestine.
So, I didn't do a proper introduction of what happened here, but this is the current Uncommitted movement delegate protest. We have Daniel here with the dig, right?
Yes.
Here, you wanna put this on real quick? Let me see. It is, but here, you're just gonna put it under your shirt. It's a magnet.
Okay.
Or I guess I could hold it. Here, give me back the magnet. I'll just hold it. It's
Yeah.
fine, because we're gonna be swapping it on a lot. So.
I'm the alternate uncommitted delegate, Daniel Denver from Rhode Island, host of the Dig podcast. This is June Rose, who's the uncommitted delegate from Rhode Island. And June has been out here all night alongside other members of the uncommitted delegation, demanding not only, obviously, we want a permanent, immediate ceasefire guaranteed by an arms embargo on Israel. The only way to get a ceasefire is to stop sending the fire. The way to stop having children in Gaza being killed by American bombs is to stop sending American bombs. And at the very least, we need to have a Palestinian American up there on the stage at the DNC tonight. for some reason it's okay to have the family of an Israeli hostage speak, whose pain is very real. The suffering is very real. We don't want any innocent, we don't want any to die or suffer. But the fact that there's somehow anyone can go on that stage, basically, except for a Palestinian, is just exemplary of profound anti-Palestinian racism.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and June, comes here from an experience as a Jewish Rhode Islander who spent time in Israel as a child, and I think June has a lot to say about why this deeply offensive to have a genocide carried out in the name of Jewish people. It's deeply offensive to all of us as an American to have this being carried out in our name and with our tax dollars.
You want to talk about that?
Sure.
Here, you hold it. My arms are starting to get tired.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I mean, we've been out here all night. I think we're at, 18, 19 hours. Slept a couple hours on this concrete. But we're out here making demands of a party that claims to represent our values of freedom, justice, and equality. But they choose to apply those values to every single issue besides one. When it comes to Gaza, they apply a different set of values. We become the party of death and destruction. For 2/3 of my life, growing up as an Orthodox Jew, I believed that the occupation of Palestine was necessary in order to protect my safety. I believed that Palestinians in the West Bank and in Gaza needed to be kept in cages and under military occupation to keep my people, the Jewish people, safe. And then I went to Palestine. I met the people. I went to markets in Nablus, living rooms in Ramallah, coffee shops in Bethlehem. I saw the humanity on the other side of the apartheid wall. And I realized that Palestine needs our voices, because I realized that not one child anywhere in the world needs to die in order to keep me safe. I'm here as a reflection of my Jewish values, because growing up as an Orthodox Jew in Jewish day schools, I learned of the Holocaust at a very young age. And when they taught me about the Holocaust, the lesson that I learned was not that we need to be afraid of what's going to happen to the Jewish people. The lesson that I learned was that we need to stand up against bigotry and hatred and genocide no matter who the victim is. And right now it is Palestinians who need our voices as bombs rain down from the sky with our names printed down the side. It's Palestinians who need us standing up for them when they can't stand up for themselves, when they get no place at this convention. A supposedly stands for diversity and representation, but only one ethnic group is left out. I've never seen a DNC where they said no Irish Americans can speak. I don't remember last DNC, they said next time we're going to leave out Italian Americans, they can't speak. We're asking for one Palestinian American. We didn't even say which one. We gave them a list and we'd be happy to give them a bigger list, whatever they need. One Palestinian American. And they said no. There will be no people from that ethnic group speaking at our convention about human rights and diversity and representation and equality. Where is the justice in that? While bombs rain down from the sky, while 16,000 Palestinian children have been killed in the name of my safety as a Jew, where is the justice in that? It's time for our party to live up to our values, which means an immediate permanent ceasefire, an arms embargo, which means not one more bomb, and a Palestinian American speaker to speak on the stage to tell the stories of pain and suffering this country desperately needs to hear.
That was brilliant. It was beautiful. Thank you. No, that's a great question. No, that's a great question. She asked, why do you think they said no to you?
Yeah. I mean, it's
Still out for me, sorry.
Some of this is speculation, right? Because we've been making these asks for months. With the DNC, we've been in conversations and negotiations about our asks. And our biggest asks are not about a speaker. Our biggest asks are about policy change to save lives. But we also made some smaller asks. Like, can we just have a Palestinian American speaker share their story? And they said no to that. All they said was, it's a no. That's all they said. So we're left to speculate. And I can tell you from my experience that the reason that I once stood with the Israeli occupation was because I did not see the humanity of Palestinians. And I believe that the powers that be are afraid that if the American people see the Palestinians as human beings who are suffering, who need help, who are living under bombardment, who are living under famine, with entire generations wiped out, with children killed, then we would be empathetic to that cause, that we would come together around this immediate permanent ceasefire and an arms embargo. that we would see change on this issue. So so they shield us from it. It's time for that shield to be lifted so that Palestine can be free.
Thank you, June, so much for your words here. We are also here from what's going on, my man?
What's up? How are you?
How are you
Abbas,
doing?
nice to meet you.
Abbas, you want to hold this?
Sure.
All right. Abbas, can you tell people who you are, what you're doing out here?
Yes. My name is Abbas. I am. Hit send on that.
You're a big dude.
A little bit bigger than you.
Yeah, you're a bigger dude than me.
I was trying to be the biggest guy here, and you give me a run for my money, but here we are. My name is Abbas Alawi. I am an uncommitted delegate from Michigan, which means in the Democratic presidential primary, we mobilized over 101,000 voters in Michigan to vote uncommitted as a way of voting for peace and against war and for Palestinian human rights. We knew that this was important to do precisely because our country's policy right now, the policy that unfortunately the Democratic Party supports, is to continue sending weapons to the Israeli military, that the Israeli military is turning around and using to harm and kill civilians, over 40,000 civilians, over 16,000 children, babies. We know that deeply immoral, it's also deeply illegal, it's against international law, it's against US law, and it's deeply unpopular. The majority of Democratic voters want a ceasefire. The majority of Democratic voters want a stop to the unconditional flow of weapons to Netanyahu's government. And so if we are serious about stopping the bombs, if we are serious about reuniting all those held captive, Israeli and Palestinian, with their families, then we've got to stop sending bombs. It's actually pretty straightforward. That's why we're running a campaign called Not Another Bomb. That's why uncommitted delegates are here specifically asking that our take this issue seriously, and the support, the flood of support that's coming in from members of Congress for this issue is really important. But there was something really weird that happened yesterday. Like, our policy asks are clear: not another bomb, arms embargo now. We've been pushing those really clearly, and we had like a programmatic ask saying that we want a Palestinian American to speak from the stage. And we thought that was pretty straightforward, especially because the party platform says
very reasonable. I mean, this is like bare minimum in terms of like recognition. Listen, they had a fucking border guy. They had a cop guy. Okay, they had multiple Trump supporters, like Republicans. They had Bernie Sanders on, and then they followed Bernie Sanders up with J.B. Pritzker, which is fine. Like, he's all right, but then he talked about how he's a billionaire. And then they had another billionaire. They had like a corporate donor up there to showcase how big of a tent they have. But it does kind of like, this tent is big, with the exception of Palestinian Americans.
But here's how I feel. I worked in Democratic politics for a while. I'm someone who myself has survived US-funded Israeli bombs. I was a kid in Lebanon in 2006. I was 15. I was certain that my own government's weapons were going to kill me. I was certain of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I'm asking that kid inside of me, that 15-year-old, hey, what do you need? We need a ceasefire. And you know who does not support a ceasefire? Not a single, not one, not a single Republican federal official in the country. Not Donald Trump, not any of the members of the House, not any of the senators. None of them support a ceasefire. And this is after. And so, you know, that's where we're at baseline. And so, in the Democratic Party, we know that the majority of Democrats support a ceasefire. The majority of Democrats support a stop to the unconditional flow of weapons to Netanyahu. And so we're just saying, yo, the majority of Democrats support this. Certainly, the overwhelming majority of Palestinian Americans support this. And in a party where we say that we value the lives of everyone equally, we should be able to hear from a Palestinian American. We'd be lucky to hear from a Palestinian American. Palestinian Americans are leaders in every kind of movement you can think of.
Of course.
And we would be lucky to hear from them. And if we don't, if they decide not to, which if you're urge you, tweet at the DNC, tell them we should hear from a Palestinian American speaker, tell them not another bomb, that we need an arms embargo now. But if they decide not to, then it's really their loss.
No, absolutely. Obviously the morality of it is clear if you are, not a soulless, bloodless monster. It's a genocide. It's an apartheid. Even when it's not a genocide, it's still an apartheid. And currently it's both. And beyond the morality of the situation, it also plays well for the Democratic Party's election chances. And all it takes is just a little bit of courage. And there's been a lot of courage in the Democratic Party so far in behaving like a competent party. and doing certain things that my 10 years of like covering the rat race have never seen from the Democratic Party, swapping out Joe Biden with Kamala Harris, choosing Tim Walz over over the safe choice, which would have been probably Josh Shapiro, in order to lock down Pennsylvania for the Electoral College. These are all good moves that they've made, and obviously there needs to be a little bit of courage to say that American foreign policy that is continued in this bipartisan manner has to stop. There needs to be, what is happening over here? Okay, well, this American foreign policy needs to change in order to even continue the objectives of the American State Department. That's why there's so many State Department officials that have resigned early on in the earlier parts of October, resigning, knowing full well what was about to happen, urging the America to create some sort of restraint, some sort of mechanism of restraint, which Joe Biden himself has enforced at different times in 2021. It's just one phone call. But not only is it such a simple ask, not only is it morally the right thing to do, it also will generate a tremendous amount of support from key constituencies, your state specifically, and in other states as well. The blue wall would be impenetrable if this decision was made. There's not a single, this is something I say all the time, there's not a single person that is a likely Democratic Party voter or in the margins that says, I will only vote for the Democratic Party if Israel continues its genocide and the Democrats follow through on it. There are people like that. There are single issue voters like that, but they live in the Deep South. They're evangelical Zionists. They're the most rabid of the individuals in this country that are like single issue voters on that front, right? But they're not voting for the Democratic Party. There are, however, people, plenty of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and in very important states that say, I will not vote for the Democratic Party unless they put an end to the genocide of my people, unless they put an end to the unlimited weapons transfers, unless they restrain Israel. It doesn't make any sense to me, because I've never seen a situation where it's such an obvious win-win. Like, I can't believe we're talking about it on these boundaries. We're talking about genocide, right? But even then, if you want to make this bloodless political calculation, it's still right there. So,
I mean, here's the situation.
It's unconscionable.
Yeah, and here's the situation. As awful and as ungodly as the situation is right now, based on what we are witnessing and what we are reading, Donald Trump to make this a lot worse too. It's hard to imagine that it could get worse, but if you listen to what Donald Trump is saying, he says we should genocide faster, essentially.
Yeah.
He says we should fully annex the West Bank. He says he wants his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, to get $1 million a beach and permanently already displaced Palestinians, put a couple more dollars in his pocket. And so we think we have an opportunity. Vice President Harris has an opportunity to tell us proactively how she will be different than Trump on this issue. And I think that can help us rebuild that trust with those voters for whom Gaza is a top policy issue and Palestinian human rights is a top policy issue. Yeah.
And I do foresee this becoming a larger problem. I don't know if this is another potentially, but like, from the Democratic Party's like election chances, it's not just about the uncommitted voters. It's not just about people who are like, this is my single issue, this is my family, right? My family's being slaughtered. Of course I want to put an end to that. It's with my tax dollars. But beyond that, you're also leaving on the table in a relatively close election, like the mood in there, you've been in there, the mood in there is crazy. It's ecstatic. Everybody thinks like, oh, it's over, it's done, right?
We can't sweep this issue under the rug, though.
And no, exactly. And I do get this attitude that like, there are people that are obviously pro-Palestine in there, right? There are obviously people who are in favor of a ceasefire. Yeah. They represent the majority of Americans, the overwhelming majority of the Democratic Party's voter base.
That's right.
Right? But beyond that, there's this attitude where this is like, oh, you get the spoilers. You're like spoiling the fun we're having in there. And two things come to mind. One, I feel that angers me, obviously, because it's ridiculous. But the other thing is, I don't think people should be this excited this early on. I don't think that leaving someone who is unstable, selfish, and has demonstrated his willingness to continue this war for his own personal desire, someone like Netanyahu, in this position to potentially move American troops into the region, as he has done so far, as the American government has done, and potentially pull the United States of America into a larger conflict, would greatly change the electoral calculus. In the minds of many Americans, 50%, more than 50% of Americans don't want to go to war to defend Israel.
And I think we at some point, we as a society have to get to the heart of the issue. If we want a ceasefire, we've got to stop sending the fire. If we want the bombs to stop dropping, we've got to stop sending the bombs. It's actually very simple.
Yeah.
And our own government's policy for decades has been sustaining a very deeply illegal, now an apartheid system that has resulted in the horrors we're seeing now. And so we've got to have this conversation among Democrats, again, among Republicans, among folks who feel like they don't identify with either party. We need a change in this policy.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time out to speak to my audience and to me as well.
Thanks so much.
Thank you for all your work.
Of course.
All right. What's good? Is that good? Is there anyone else you want me to talk to? I mean, I'd love to talk to Corey Bush too, but
Yeah, no, we can get Corey on in a second, I'm sure.
yeah.
How you
What's
doing?
going on? Oh, I was gonna ask, is there anything you guys need, like food, whatever? I mean, you seem pretty solid right now,
This
but
pizza's been out here since 4
what's
a.m.
going on?
Everything and nothing.
Uncommitted from Washington?
No, Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Which is the largest uncommitted delegation in the country with 11.
So, do you mind holding this?
Sure.
While we talk, it's a microphone.
Yep.
And then this side right here is supposed to
Okay.
be your mouth. Okay, so you're uncommitted from Minnesota.
Yep.
One of the largest, the largest
The
uncommitted.
largest uncommitted delegation.
The largest uncommitted delegation. Tim Walz is the governor of Minnesota.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I was shocked that they chose Tim Walz as the VP pick rather than Josh Shapiro. And I do like the Democrat Farmer Labor Party and all of the things that they did with the 1-seat majority that they had.
Yeah, in the
something
Senate,
that
We had 7 in the House, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's something that I've actively covered back when it was happening, and I was also very excited about this prospect. But as far as I understand, from what I understand, Tim Walz has also been at odds with the. He has said nice things about the uncommitted movement in his own state, which is definitely unique, especially at the time when I felt like the mainstream media was avoiding talking about the uncommitted movement.
Yeah.
Like they were allergic to recognizing that this was genuinely a problem for the Democratic Party's future.
Right.
In the come November. He said we have to listen to these guys. These are constituents. They have a voice. They're right. I mean, I don't know if they said they're right, but beyond that, there's been a little bit of a back and forth in terms of how he has handled the situation. I know that I mean, obviously Minnesota has a large Somali population.
Yeah.
There are some fantastic politicians. The Attorney General Keith Ellison I like. Obviously Ilhan Omar I love. Yeah. And I guess the question is, where do you feel Tim Walz lands on this issue? Do you think he has any sort of power to influence the outcome if he was to be more sympathetic to the Palestinian plight?
Yeah, thanks for all that. I mean, I feel that he was the best choice of the short list, the long list. I'm happy that he is the vice presidential nominee. And yeah, he said what I remember most specifically is what he said after we had nearly 50,000 vote uncommitted on Super Tuesday in Minnesota was that, we're participating in the process. We're voting and we're participating in democracy. And he said it's on us to bring them in. And he is not doing that. He has not met with us as uncommitted.
Yeah.
He is not doing anything to bring us in. Somewhat recently, I am a member of the Free Palestine Coalition. I'm a liaison through a organizing I'm doing to take on Christian Zionism, mostly. That's my personal reason. And so some members that are Palestinian Minnesotans, some members of the Free Palestine Coalition that are Palestinian Minnesotans met with him, and the meeting was planned, and then they said, we want to talk about divesting our pension funds from specifically Israeli banks and bonds, our state worker pension funds and other public worker pension funds. And then he canceled the meeting saying, I thought I was just here to hear your stories and your stories of pain and about people that have died. So that's not okay. He was not yet named the vice presidential nominee at that point, or presumptive nominee.
Yeah.
But when he says, we got to bring those people in and they're participating in the process, and he's doing nothing to do that. And it's pretty obvious, if you followed along how the decision was made for who's going to be VP, he's really all in on being in a supportive role for nominee Kamala Harris, or officially becomes nominee tonight. We had the roll call already. So I think it's time for our governor and the vice presidential nominee for the Democratic Party to look at what he can do in Minnesota to show that he cares about what's happening and what's happening with hardworking state of Minnesota pension funds that are invested in Israeli banks and bonds against state statute. We have state statute that says you cannot invest in any other nation states banks and bonds other than Canada. There's a path to this.
Fuck it, take Canada out of there too.
Right? But early in 2022, immediately, there was a divestment from Belarus and Russia with what's going on in Ukraine. This can happen with Israel as well.
Yeah.
So, call us in, meet with us, talk to us about what's possible, what he can do well. He's governor of Minnesota. This is about winning in November. We're proud of the way we do voter turnout and volunteer and get out and knock on doors. I'm one of those people that does a lot of that and gets others too, and I don't feel like I can right now.
Yeah.
And we're Minnesotans are excited. Many people are excited. People like my own sister is she's a teacher, and she's definitely supportive on this issue. And the thing is, it's been a breath of fresh air that our governor and the vice presidential nominee is saying things in a way that we've just been waiting for someone to frame certain things like this, like just get out of people's bedrooms, like you talking about freedom, and just like really plain spoken kind of folksy messaging that people are really latching onto. And he's rightfully calling out Republicans and using the word weird, and that's great. Like, it's cool. People because these horrible ideas they have to take away people's freedom, and just some of it is truly weird. But I'll tell you what's weird, Governor Walz, Vice Presidential Nominee Walz. What is weird is to say ceasefire and keep sending the fire. That's weird. It's not a good look. You're a teacher. You know better. You taught people, students, learners in Mankato, Minnesota, the site of 38 people being hung on the same day the Emancipation Proclamation was signed. You taught them about genocide. Tim, you know better. You know better, and it's time to step up and right that wrong of the legacy of Minnesota and the Dakota slaughter and genocide there. Stop being weird. Stop sending the fire and saying ceasefire. That is a direct contradiction, and you know better. You know that's a bad look. Got to stop the bombs. Stop the money.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Actually, I do have one other question. What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Uncommited Delegate, Missouri, Michael Berg.
Nice to meet you. The thing I wanted to ask you about is, I feel like I'm Muslim. I'm Turkish. I'm a white guy, but my name is Hasan, right? I can't really escape that in America. Sometimes it comes up, usually at the TSA line, right? Having said that, I have, I guess, a special place for American politicians who are not from that background, who do stand by their Muslim constituents. Yeah. And Tim Walz historically has done that, both in terms of defending Keith Ellison, both in terms of defending Ilhan Omar, both in terms of defending the population in Minnesota. So, and pairing that up with his background as a teacher, who did teach his students about about how certain types of genocide are not even covered in the same severity. Like, this is not like normal from a person that I would ever see at the top of a ticket. You know what I mean? As a vice presidential candidate.
That's true.
So I feel like there is an inherent contradiction there, and I don't know how he could be the same person who did all of this stuff in his past, who simultaneously is now staying silent.
Yeah, he's effectively been silent, other than those nice words on Super Tuesday. And we're talking about someone who is clearly white, state champion football coach, high school teacher, proud of working in the lunchroom. And he has stood with our
and he stood
those that are oppressed, and all the communities you name that we have a very diverse, vibrant immigrant and refugee population in Minnesota. And he has stood up in support of that, in his career leading up to getting elected to Congress and as a governor, and now he's silent. And that is very disappointing, and it's certainly not the way to win in November, and it's certainly not the way to keep this one Minnesota that he ran on as governor in 2018 going, and to keep the celebrating that we're seeing from our 2023 legislative session. So it's shocking, it's concerning, it's time to on this. One thing about our governor and the vice presidential nominee that we've seen is that he's been willing to evolve, he's been willing to dig in and listen on, for example, the issue of guns, and he's been talking about that quite a bit. He had an A rating from the NRA, and then he was challenged, and he moved on that issue.
Yeah.
So he's shown his ability to evolve, and he really has to evolve in like an hour. so that we can get a speaker up on stage.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's doing that. And if so, it's time to be public. He needs to evolve quickly. We don't have much time today with what's left of the DNC and what kind of message is going to be sent to our Muslim and our Arab and our community in Minnesota, let alone nationally. Now it's national governor. Let's go.
I thank you so much. Thank you so much for your work. Nice to meet you.
We have a Palestinian American uncommitted delegate.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Alaikum salam. Would you mind holding this when you speak?
Sure.
It's a mic. Yeah, make sure the top part is facing you. All right, so tell the tat who you are and what you're doing here. You can look at me, you can look at the camera. It's all good. We're freestyling. It's not that serious. It's not like there's only like 40,000 people watching. Don't worry.
You're right. Great. Thanks a lot. Okay. My name is Sabrina Alda. I'm an uncommitted delegate from Washington State, and I'm here to advocate for my people. I'm Palestinian American, and so I'm here to amplify the voices of Gaza.
So, have you been participating in the demonstration so far?
So we have been sitting here since 8:30 last night. I have not slept since then. So, but it's the least we can do. We want to make sure that there is enough room for us in the Democratic Party, that Palestinian voices are represented, and that we really hold true to what our voters sent us here to do and create for Palestinians.
Okay, perfect. Were you one of the people that wanted to speak potentially?
No.
No?
Absolutely not.
You wouldn't do it? What would you say if you got up there?
I wouldn't do it because I'm gonna why I wouldn't do it. There are so many more qualified Palestinians and also Palestinians who have gone to Gaza and served there in the last 10 months that I think the world needs to hear from. It's not about us as individuals, it's about amplifying the voices from Gaza and what's happening there. So it's not about me, but whatever I can do in this movement to get to that mission, that's what I'm here to do.
Okay. Do you think the Democratic Party is going to be responsive to the very reasonable demands you guys are making out here today?
I think it would be a grave mistake not to. I think that I'm holding out hope that they will see us and they'll hear us and they'll allow space for Palestinian voices in the party.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you for you too.
What's up? What's up? Okay.
Oh,
all right. Perfect.
right away.
No, it's all good. Here you go. Tell the people who you are. What do you do?
What did you say about me?
She's saying you're also single and ready to mingle.
Oh my God. Yo, I'm uncommitted. I'm good with it. All right.
Yeah, he's uncommitted on every aspect.
I'm uncommitted on everything except yeah.
Yeah. By the
This
way.
is live. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
What's up?
Oh damn.
Okay.
She just aired you out like that. That's crazy.
That's I mean the DNC isn't meeting our demands. Let's get something here, okay?
All right. Where are you uncommitted from?
I want me camera you here.
No, you just talk to the camera. It's fine.
My name is Hader. I'm an uncommitted delegate from the state of Washington.
Hell yeah. What do you do?
I'm actually a registered nurse. I worked for 9 years out of level 1 trauma. I got my master's degree and now I work in healthcare regulatory data. Isn't that fun?
That sounds awesome.
Dude, it is boring. Yeah.
That's also, you're Palestinian American.
I'm Palestinian American.
Typical.
Born in
Just, every Palestinian American I've ever met is like engineer,
healthcare,
doctor, healthcare.
You know
what's up? What's up with Palestinians? Why do they study so much?
So you know what we need to do though? We need to get Palestinians in politics, right?
I agree.
Because of stuff like this, like Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, we need to get somebody in there to help her out. Right?
Absolutely.
Like she can't be in there alone. Next time Netanyahu's in there, she can't be sitting in there alone. We got there to help her out.
I agree. Absolutely. How did that make you feel when Netanyahu got a standing ovation from the entirety of the Republican Party and like half the Democratic Party as a Palestinian American?
Dude, I mean, first of all, him being there, a foreign government's leader who is committing a genocide.
Yeah.
Being invited.
International war criminal, like a recognized war criminal at this point, but we don't abide by the Rome Statute.
So it's absolutely crazy. You know what hurt me is actually like that thought that I just didn't like that her as a Palestinian, she was there alone. That's what actually hurt me is that she was sitting there alone. And I think with everything that's been going on, we Palestinians, you just talked to Sabrine, I got my brother Rami here, where's Layla, we got Abbas, so go for it.
Anadolu Ajans, you see this? The Turks. Bu Türkler hep böyle.
So we just can't let alone. We gotta figure that out, and that's what hurt me the most. Obviously, the symbolic just nature of him being there is stupid and quite honestly kind of shitty. But
Is-
her
is-
being alone is what bugged me.
Okay, let me ask you this. As a Palestinian, look, I'm Turkish. I grew up in Turkey. So I've always had a very different analysis of Israel than like, I guess my American counterparts now. Like I had a very different attitude about it, despite the fact that Turkey also is a vestige of American imperialism. It's a NATO nation and also is a funder and facilitator of Israel in different meaningful ways, but we won't get into that right now. I feel like I've been an outspoken advocate for Palestinian emancipation for 10 years in my professional media career at least, and I have never seen such support in the Western world until this last year. I feel like in the midst of all of this chaos, in the midst of all this death and destruction, in the Western world there has been an active movement for the first time ever that recognizes the humanity of Palestinians. And I was wondering, as a Palestinian, like, do you also see it? Does that make you feel at least a little bit more hopeful when things seem so hopeless?
I think that if you had asked me this question yesterday at this time, it would have been a lot more hopeful, because the uncommitted delegates here, like the Palestinians, we're outnumbered, right? We have Pakistani, we have definitely American, we have Jewish allies, and so it's been wonderful seeing people come together saying, yo, we don't want this anymore, it's not good. But the issue is actually in here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We have 4,500 delegates. Guess what, dude? All of them, they see me wearing kufiyah, they say, hey, brother, we love what you're doing. We like that you believe. Oh, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
Just I'm sure.
Yeah. We like what you're doing, and we support how you're doing, right? People just say, we support how you're doing it.
But they don't come out here.
I mean, sometimes they do, they come and mingle. And okay, look, dude, I've said this is not 1-2 situation. This is 1 and 2. You can support Harris and support a ceasefire. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
What we're trying to do is support for a ceasefire and show that it matters for Harris. That's how she's gonna win. And so I have actually, over the last 3 days, I had a lot of hope talking to the delegates. But yesterday, the Democratic National Convention said they would not allow a Palestinian speaker. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. They go from 4 o'clock to 10:30 at night, and they said they don't have 5 minutes for a Palestinian
speaker. They put a fucking
speaker.
border patrol guy up there, bro. They put a fucking border patrol guy up there. They put fucking Trump supporters up there.
Somebody was telling me the Uber CEO of Uber.
Yeah, they had like I think the Amex guy up there to talk about being a fucking billionaire. It's like, I mean, it's ridiculous.
And yesterday they had the family of an Israeli hostage go up there and speak, and listening to them speak, listening to their suffering, it's important for us to listen so that we can empathize with one another. I don't know what the uncommitted folks or anybody else would think about it, but I honestly think the best way to this is to bring both families up there together, really show the unity. I still kind of want to hold out hope that some sort of common sense will come through so that we can get what we want. I know the people want to hear from a Palestinian in there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is, I was a little shocked seeing like how many people even in the bubble, because this is not representative of, ironically enough, like the broad majority of Democratic Party voters even.
Yeah,
I feel like when you're in there, it's a different world.
Yeah, it is. It is very interesting. 80% want a permanent ceasefire, over 60% want to, at the end of the day, people, they don't want to pay to kill babies, right? We shouldn't be making bombs, sending them to Israel so that they can kill Palestinian babies. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? All right, you're a brown guy. Stuff like this, seeing this, our country support Israel to this level, do you feel a little bit unsafe? Just a little bit, because I personally, knowing that there's probably 200,000 dead Palestinians supported by this country, I personally feel a little bit unsafe in this country now.
There was a moment, I'll tell you this much, there was a moment when, ironically enough, things have changed dramatically now, but Dr. Oz was going up against John Fetterman.
Right.
Mehmet Oz.
Yeah.
And he was a Republican.
Yeah.
Right? And, John Fetterman is a fucking goon and a sociopath, but, and, that's what happens. I guess he got hit with the stroke gun. That makes you pro-Israel.
Yeah.
More pro-Israel. He was already pro-Israel.
Yeah, he lost the Palestine.
Yeah. But basically, that moment for me, I was like, that's a Sunni Muslim dude on the Republican side of the ticket in fucking Pennsylvania. Like, what happened to the post 9/11? Like, did it completely go away in this country? And for a moment, I was like, I think it's gone. Like, I think it's like a different era.
Yeah.
And then, you know, post October 7th, it's like, oh no, it never went away. It was like people put that shit back on so quick.
Yeah.
And it definitely sucks because, like, look, you said I'm a brown guy. Like, I am a very white passing dude.
Sure.
And I say I'm white all the time. Like, I am white, you know. And for me, unless I'm at the TSA, you know, that's different. But for me, I have a lot of privilege in the intersectionality. The aspect of privilege. I'm tall, white dude, fucking, you know, cis. I'm heterosexual.
Yeah.
And I try to always, like, use that juxtaposition to advocate for social justice for marginalized people. This is the one issue where people immediately write you off, though.
Yeah.
Like, you're Muslim, you're Turkish, you're Islamist fundamentalist, you want to throw gays off the roofs, by dudes who literally do want that. You know what I mean? Oftentimes on the other side, it's like dudes who are right-wing reactionary monsters.
Right.
Who are homophobic, who want to kill gay people and trans people, being like, got them. You just love, you're this, you're that, and they just rough. There's no like seeing your humanity. Like there's no reasoning with you in that regard. It's one of the only instances where I feel that. So I guess on that front, I do get it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel unsafe, but I understand why you would feel unsafe. I mean, holy shit, you have both parties being like, we're gonna melt your family. It doesn't fucking matter to us. And October 7th, Hamas. October 7th, Hamas, over and over again.
I appreciate that, right? Because at the very least you acknowledge that. And Vice President Harris, you could at least acknowledge it, right? Right? It's just like, you know, there's such a disconnect between what the Democratic base wants and like what the elected wants. And all they have to do is listen. Like that's all they have to do is just listen, acknowledge, and then do the right thing.
I think they're just straight up like riding the momentum of like Kamala Harris and like the ticket swap and like everyone's excited about it. And I mean, this was something that I called for originally as well. I said I would never vote for Joe Biden, no matter what. Like,
so what about Kamala now?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't vote for Kamala Harris because I mean I'm waiting to find out what her background looks like, what actual policy positions are going to look like. We're just reading the tea leaves at this point. We don't have any way of understanding exactly what she stands for.
Yeah.
And I say this as someone who covered her pretty closely in 2019. And back then it was like, track record in the Senate was obviously very progressive, but that didn't mean anything because it was under a Trump administration.
Right.
Where she knew she couldn't get anything done anyway, and many Democrats routinely vote for like really progressive stuff.
So like for you, how far like up on that scale for her would be like because Israel policy? Because
I'm not the average voter.
Right.
So it doesn't like I understand that.
Yeah.
I try to understand where voters coming from when I talk about these sorts of things, and I know that it's not high on the totem pole for them. Like I don't think it's like it's not an equation unless it gets back in their face. So I think like this kind of stuff is important because this kind of pressure is really important. Students are going back to college. Yeah. If the encampments start coming back, police are probably going to crack down on that. That's going to
censorship.
That is going to that forefront. That is going to be something that Kamala Harris has to address, that she has to carry everywhere with her. So I'm a massive advocate for what you guys are doing here. I'm a massive advocate for obviously the protests. Like it's I see a lot of people saying, you know, all right, cut it out, guys. Come on. Like, what are you doing? Like Trump is going to be so much worse. It's like, that's the same equation with Joe Biden too.
Yeah.
Like that was the same exact thing in terms of like American foreign policy.
Yeah.
Something that we're paying for with our tax dollars.
Yeah.
It's just so, I mean, it's a partisan W, tackling it from like the perspective of partisanship and being like, this is the Republican issue. They're crazy on it.
Yeah. We
want to heal America. We want to fix America. We want to fix the potholes. We want to give you health care. We want to give you education, free education. We are not in unlimited genocide dollars. We're going to take that money and we're going to use it on ourselves. Like that is such an easy narrative to just put out there.
Dude, she could do it like you're saying. We're going to find out probably more tonight. where her policies are. Right?
Yeah,
like that's.
But we're finding out right now if they don't let any Americans speak, I think that's pretty indicative of where they stand in terms of like, yeah, we'll say.
I mean, I want to see the Palestinians speak for 5 minutes. So yeah. You're just an adjective over there.
Yeah.
You want to hop in here? No? Put you in?
Anyway,
I don't know about you. Where did Corey Bush? Wait.
Yeah, she's over there.
You want to bring Corey in? Hey, dude. Okay.
Hey, nice to meet you, my man.
Very nice to meet you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you do.
Yeah, but good one. Can I say salam alaikum to you? Yes. Here you go. This is supposed to face you. Okay. You can put it on you if you want. You can hold it up.
I don't know how to put it on me. Oh,
it's a magnet on the back.
Okay, I'm just gonna hold it.
Okay. Who are you? What are you doing out here? Tell the camera.
Yeah, my name is Asma Muhammad, and I am the co-chair of the Minnesota delegation of uncommitted delegates to the DNC, and I ran the Minnesota campaign.
You guys did a phenomenal job.
We literally used $5,000 of the $20,000 we raised and got 46,000 votes in 8 days.
That's insane.
8 days.
That's insane. Do you feel like the media snubbed you guys a little bit? Do you think that there was adequate coverage?
Yes.
You think so?
Yeah, they
I was very mad. I didn't think they covered it enough.
I mean, maybe, but I felt like they were like constantly harassing me to find out
you're
more.
Close to it. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I was getting calls constantly.
Yeah, from a watcher perspective, I'm a news watcher.
Yeah. I'm sure you have a different perspective.
I felt as though they kind of covered it. They're like, yeah, these guys are uncommitted. All right, move on. No, I'm good, thank you.
It's only like a day old.
No, I'm good.
It's not a day. It's half a day.
Okay, it's still good though.
Yeah.
The pizza is still. Oh, it's the racist pizza too.
The pizza?
It's Papa John's.
Oh, they're Zionists.
Wait, are they?
Yes. No, they're Zionists. They are.
It's fine. There's Palestinians here. It's a shield.
True.
I didn't even know that. I just thought,
they are.
Big
they're
Papa
actually,
is just like
they're like horrible.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What
well,
American
like big corporation
is not horrible?
Yeah.
Really?
True.
Well, okay. You said you disagree. Why do you disagree with what I said earlier? If they don't allow a Palestinian American to speak up there, it's like I think a pretty big message.
I mean, no, I think it is a big message, but I also think that there still is. I'm a hopeful person and I'm pragmatic, and I still think I'm trying to remember that my community, our community, has the most with the Trump presidency. I'm a Muslim woman who has faced hate crimes under the Trump presidency.
Yeah.
And simultaneously, absolutely, I want to see a Palestinian American speaker on stage. But what I think is really their loss is that a majority of Democrats support us in this.
Yeah.
A majority of Democrats support a ceasefire and arms embargo. So it's not the Democratic, the people. It's not the Democrats that are against it. It's the leadership.
Yeah.
So I think that's who we need to hold accountable. Not, I think the party, the people of the party. By and large, I've been getting like hundreds of messages today of people saying like, oh, around the world. My friend Khalid in Gaza sent me a message today thanking me for what we're doing.
Yeah, no,
they're incredible.
They're locked in. They watch this stuff pretty closely.
Yeah, like Gaza is watching right now as we sat in. We slept on the pavement tonight, and it was hard. And the thing that I couldn't help but think about is that people in Gaza have been sleeping in tents for 300 plus days. My friend Khalid has been displaced 3 times.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, you're right. So you're holding out hope. Is it because you think I'm gonna switch pace here? I'm gonna go back to being kind of funny.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Is it because you think Tim Walz is a secret Somali?
He has never eaten a sambusa in front of me. He doesn't know how to say Barashuanaksan, which means nice to meet you in Somali.
How do you say it?
Barashuanaksan.
Barashuanaksan?
Yeah,
okay.
To meet you in Somali. I don't think he knows those things. So.
He doesn't know, so he's not a secret Somali.
He's
so
not.
Joe Rogan lied.
Joe Rogan lied.
Joe Rogan lied to me.
So unfortunate. It's
I saw
so unfortunate.
As soon as, listen, for me, it's like it doesn't take much. If I see a white guy go to a CARE meeting, I'm like,
secret Somali.
He's
Didn't go to a CARE meeting?
He did a long time ago.
Oh, he probably spoke at a press conference.
Yeah.
Not a CARE meeting.
No. Well, not a CARE meeting, but like.
I'm from Minnesota, sir.
He did attend like a.
He came to a CARE Islamophobia conference and spoke against Islamophobia at the conference.
Okay, but that's like still.
No, it's not a meeting.
It's not enough.
It's not a meeting.
It's not enough.
It's not a meeting.
Okay, no, it's fair. You're right. You're right. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
oh shit! I didn't even realize what time
should go.
it is.
You should go. Thank you.
Yeah. Now that you own me, I'm leaving.
You're a much taller person, so you got that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We gotta go. Sure. Nice to meet you, man. Thank you. Thank you for everything you guys are doing. Hell yeah. All right. I'm gonna give it to. Sure. Let's do it. Hello. I'm a big fan. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Do you mind holding this? This is a mic. And I gotta take a photo with her. Or actually, you know what? We'll do it afterwards. Thank you so much for being here, Corey. How are you doing?
I'm all right. It's bittersweet.
Yeah.
You know, it's a historic moment, but hopefully it's historic in the way where we can see a great where we can all join in and be proud.
Yeah. How do you feel about obviously like AIPAC backed big donors that played a significant role in your primary race?
It's absolutely disgusting. It's disgusting. All right. And the thing is, when you can't run on truth, when you have to run on $1 million lies, that speaks to who you actually are. And this is not about one organization either. This is about the allows for this, so whether it's AIPAC or the NRA, whether it's the cryptocurrency people, whoever. So for me, we have to do the work to fight this system. We have to fight this system because what happened in my race was primarily Republican MAGA donors decided who was the nominee for this seat. And the people of St. Louis deserve better.
Absolutely. You're a fighter for your people. These people out here, the uncommitted delegates, also did something that you've done as well in the past. They out here and they slept outside to hopefully get the Democratic Party to listen to them. You were successful in making Congress extend the
yes, absolutely, eviction moratorium.
The eviction moratorium. After, for those who don't know, Corey stood outside of Congress, and when they were trying to go home, and they love going home.
Yeah,
they love going on vacation, and worked tirelessly and protested outside of Congress to ensure the eviction moratorium was halted or extended.
Yes, it was extended. We were out there for four nights and 5 days. And actually, Hasan, the person who was with me when I made the decision to just okay, we're just going to stay here, was Abbas Alawiya, the same person who is one of those leading this movement.
Hell yeah. What do you think about the intersectionality? This is kind of silly, but a lot of conversation on TikTok nowadays, which is such a ridiculous thing to ask someone like yourself, but a lot of people are confused. They think that, there's this sentiment that the pro-Palestinian movement is anti-black because they're not with Kamala Harris or things of that nature, right? And I wanted to ask you how you feel about that, because I go to these protests all the time. These are some of the most diverse protests I've ever attended. And they've always been.
Yes.
And obviously Palestinians have been at the front as well, and Muslim Americans have been at the Black Lives Matter movements as well. I just wanted to hear what you had to say about the intersectionality and how these struggles diverge in very meaningful ways.
Yes. So first of all, I'll start with the fact that in my community, Black Muslims are working directly with our Arab, Muslim, and Palestinian community and have been on this issue. So locally, they have been hand in hand working together. But I have to take this all the way back for me, to where it started. It was the Ferguson Uprising, when a delegation of Palestinians came to the United States, to Missouri, to Ferguson, to help us protest and to help us protest, but also mainly there to teach us what to do when we were tear gassed. This was 2014, before all the information was out there.
This is when Barack Obama was they're thugs.
It was really a tough time, and so that solidarity was there then. And I remember asking them, Hasan, I remember saying, why are you all why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourselves on the line? We're being tear gassed, shot with rubber bullets, all of these things. And they said, because we understand oppression in our country. We know what this is like, and we don't want to go through it. And so we locked arms and stood together then. So that solidarity is there, but that solidarity was there during the civil rights movement. This is nothing new. My auntie, my auntie who I love, the Dr. Angela Davis, speaks about it so much, and so we have to stand together and stay together at this time. It's about humanity. How can I have no idea, Hasan, what it's like. Wonder if a bomb is going to hit my community. I have no idea what that's going to be like, and I hope I never do. But for those that do, I should be there to help them the same way that many Palestinians said, you know what, we don't know what it's like to suffer in this country, to suffer what black people go through in this country. We don't know what that's like here, you know, the same way. We don't know what it's like to be killed by police with impunity, you know, disproportionately. So in the same way, we should be standing for one another.
And obviously the issue goes beyond, there is a direct involvement when you have, in the post 9/11 world in the United States of America, the IDF training police departments all around the country. You have the New York Police Department having an office in Tel Aviv. Like, this is a direct issue. It's this exact, sometimes the struggle that black Americans, people in this country experience in terms of police brutality.
Oh my gosh.
Sometimes the tactics and the techniques are directly taught by the IDF and applied to the Palestinian population.
And it's boasted. It's that, you know, from even from police departments that they went and received that. And so that was hurtful for us during the Ferguson uprising to see our local police force speak to that in that way. One thing to get the training, was another thing to boast about it.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Well, thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you, Hasan.
And I hope that you'll continue and get back to Congress.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Okay, let's do it. Oh, we gotta move. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait, hold on. Let me take this photo. And then. Chat. Look who it is. Look who it is. Our creator?
I'm the original creator.
I do.
You know, they used to preference us bloggers, and now they preference you guys.
The man, the myth, the legend, okay? Mr. Laptop Salesman himself. Wow.
Elon and,
wow.
And two-factor authentication.
How you been? Oh, okay. I have to leave, but we have to go back to our studio. But I have to talk to you about some stuff. Here, can you hold this microphone?
Yeah,
absolutely. Or you can even put it on your.
All right. Does it just sit
It's
there?
a.
I see. I got it.
It's a magnet. It's a magnet. If you want to.
I got some there.
No. It's a magnet.
Oh,
that
I
holds
see.
it like
that kind of thing.
Boom.
Okay.
God damn it. Oh my God.
I missed my big moment, people.
No, you're not missing a big moment. Look, Daniel Dano, the American Prospect, for those of you who don't know, I don't know. I mean, he's been on the show multiple times, obviously. Love him. He's also, you might recognize him from The Majority Report. He's on that time as well. Question for you.
Yep.
You're a policy guy. You're a domestic policy guy. You love this stuff. And I wish that they would listen to you more. But do you feel like, I mean, this is not going to be about Israel-Palestine in particular, but like, do you feel like there is this a different Democratic Party than the one we know, the one we kind of despise?
Look, I came down because I wanted to, you know, see what was happening here and see, you know, what the grievances are and what. I think it's ridiculous to haven't put up a Palestinian speaker. They, you know, the idea is, oh well, the convention has to be joyful and happy and everything. Well, what were the Israeli hostage?
Well, yeah, you had the Israeli hostage families on. Yeah.
You either do both or none, right?
Also, let me tell you, I don't feel joyful when I see a fucking Border Patrol guy go up there to be like, oh, we got to do less deportation than Trump, but still do some deportations. Like, I don't, that didn't give joy to me at.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, it's a convention. They're trying to play to the 8 idiots that are in the middle that are trying to figure out, you know, who to vote for.
But in terms of policy, let me ask you this.
Sure.
Because it's a lot of vibes.
Yeah.
This is like just, you know, economic policy, things of that nature. Do you feel like it's different? Do you feel like they are, like the Tim Walz selection, it made me feel as though they were like owning some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Some of this radical stuff, like paid family leave, you know?
And there's some hope to that.
Feeding children.
And also some of the key advisors that the campaign picked up are people who worked with Elizabeth Warren, who worked in the Biden White House on, you know, some of the good industrial policy stuff. I think they have this big agenda. I just wrote this story at prospect.org. Check it out. They have a big agenda.
Yeah.
They want to restore Roe. They want to pass voting rights legislation. They want to do paid family leave. They want to do, you know, childcare, all that stuff. And the question is, the rules of the Senate right now prohibit them from doing any of that.
Yeah.
Because of the filibuster.
Yeah.
And I've been going around, I've probably asked maybe 15-20% of the Democratic Senate caucus about this. And
that's why I wanted to ask you this question.
I've gotten a variety of answers.
You're a nerd.
So, you know, some people say, oh, we have a plan, we'll figure this out. First we'll pass the Roe thing, and then after you do it once, It's like, what are they going to say? They're going to say, oh, well, it was important for women, but it's not important for African Americans for voting, or it's not important for kids for gun safety. But then other people have said, well, there are a range of views in the caucus, and we'll see what we can do. You know, you can't simultaneously promise to change America and then not promise to change the rules to prohibit you from changing America.
One thing I saw from Kamala Harris in the rallies that I think is really unique in terms of messaging was that she didn't say, if I get into the White House, we're going to make this change. She said, if I get into the White House and we get the Senate and the House, like then we will be able to push
that's
this.
important. That's the only way you have a governing moment. But then the step beyond that is to change the rules to make sure you can actually pass that stuff. Now, I was in Las Vegas at the back end of the Harris-Walz barnstorming tour. It was 109 degrees there, and there were 16,000 people outside. There's obviously a ton of excitement and relief that we don't have to vote for Joe Biden, that we don't have to defend Joe Biden.
Yeah.
You know, there's a ton of excitement.
But I do feel like they're kind of using that excitement
as a shield.
As a shield to avoid talking about certain things, specifically this one.
Well,
I do also worry, meaning Israel, Palestine. I do also worry a little bit that like they're using that momentum to be like, oh, we shouldn't go even further and like try to pick up even more steam or more momentum. It's good. We got it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is the concern. I mean, you're preaching to the choir when you're here. There's not a single person in this hall that's going to vote for Donald Trump. The question is, are you doing the work that needs to be done to bring in other people and voters who are considering not voting?
Yeah.
People maybe that watch you.
Yeah.
That are not voting.
Yeah, no, a lot of people, they're voting for Trump, my voters. My chatters.
Yeah, all in for RFK, and now they're moving.
Yeah, now that... You nailed it. How do you know? Yeah, they were. Once RFK drops out and says, you know, I'm riding with Trump, they're going Trump.
There you
All
go.
of them.
There you go.
All right. Yeah, or the CIA apparently, according to fucking Donald Trump Jr., who's a crackhead. Who gives a shit? Thanks so much.
You got it, man.
We are here with Daniel Day and Hotties for Harris.
Hotties for Harris? Yeah, I was there.
A hottie for Harris.
I was there. No, I had to pretend I was running a hype house. That's the only way they would let me in.
Yeah, I mean it's. You could. You look the part. All right, can I get the mic back?
You got it.
Thank you so much. All right.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming down here.
Okay. What's up?
You have to go. Okay, no worries.
Yeah, we have to run. I'm sorry.
No worries at all. I'm a content creator and you like inspired my whole content journey.
Hell yeah, I love your fit.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.
All right. Kolay gelsin.
Memnun oldum. Sizi tanıyoruz, takip ediyoruz.
Ha öyle mi? What's up? What's up? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Flex.
Yeah.
Here.
I just wanted to say hi.
Oh, that's dope.
I just want to...
All right, thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, of course. Can I get a picture?
Yeah, of course. What's good, Grandma? What?
She wanted to say
Shit.
hi. So.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so
We got a
much.
dip.
Let's go.
All right. What's going on, brother?
How you doing?
Thank you.
See you.
What's happening? You want a photo? Yeah. All right, come quick. Shit, are we fucked?
We're super late, yeah.
We are super late.
I'm so
All right,
sorry.
quick. Go.
Thank you.